mid lane. Now they're down a couple thousand gold, and he starts doing it again and actually getting the kills, but you could have done this from just a slight gold deficit as opposed to desperately trying to get back in the game, because from this point on, Huhi is never forcing into action with a minion wave next to him, so there's nothing to get after successfully getting the kill.
He's getting some gold, but at the end of the day, Haunter was a Kleptomancy gangplank, so he was still powering up, and if Huhi's never getting an objective off the split push, or pulling more people down after he gets the kill, it doesn't matter. So, like, yes, you can say Haunter shouldn't have been pushing up or he shouldn't have been taking fights with Fiora, but what was he really punished by? CLG didn't have the map in a position that they could punish.
And it was so sad because it was a good game plan out of CLG. Like you said, Bjergsen's pulled up to the top side by the Vladimir, so he's not in ult range to save Haunter. Haunter built a Maw instead of a Sterix gauge because he's like, I'm against the Vladimir, and now that is a useless item versus the Fiora who he gets matched up against. So they had good ideas, but they did not execute on them well as the fact that, like, TSM, yeah, they're a little passive, but if they do force 5v5s, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Jumps 25 minutes in, Reyno's already dead because of a pick, so 4v5 engagement here for CLG.
Yeah, and they have the Taric ultimate. You could argue that Darshan should have been in a little earlier, but Bjergsen was zoning him out with the Galio, saves his flash taunt for the actual fight. Since they had the smite, they were very patient trying to get it off, and it's essentially 5 kills in the duration of that fight, and as you can see by that gold graph, that's that giant acceleration that makes it look like a mountain, and that's where they win the game.
Yeah, Reyno gets picked off one time, and now you're forced into that 5v5. You're not 1-3-1ing anymore, and you have such a hard time playing in those situations, especially when they're coming off the back foot. You see, even though they had these kind of lane-focused counters, they never actually had a gold lead.
Yeah, and as a general point on CLG, when teams aren't necessarily communicating well, you should be playing more simplistic team compositions. At a certain point, COD is going to kind of have to decide that, because I feel like they're playing for the long term. It's like, this is the team we want to become. Right? They want to become the team that can pull off high execution, narrow win conditions, because that's where they're going to eke the advantages against the best teams. But they are so sloppy right now. And with Team Liquid coming up tomorrow, there's a chance they can be 3-6.
Right.
And there's no end game if you don't make playoffs. So I'm wondering if they're going to continue to hard commit with this style, or if they're just going to play the basic stuff where you're grouping as 5 and winning team fights. It's going to be a hard decision for the coach and the team.
Right, because even if you say they executed 80% of the comp here with such narrow win conditions, 80% is not good enough against someone who can execute 60%, but with more win conditions.
And TSM consistently has been smashing all of their lanes. So it's like their fix is get that pick, force the Baron, win the game. They do a similar thing against Clutch yesterday. They're 2-0 again and actually 5-3 on the year. So I think they're way closer to figuring it all out than CLG is.
TSM continues to top the rivalry. Up next, it's a battle at the top between Team Liquid and Echo Fox. Don't go anywhere.
It's a good game.
A tale as old as time, a song as old as...
North American LCS. It's time for Team Liquid versus Echo Fox, and my name is Riving Bizen III. I'm joined by the Earl of Elder Dragon, Aiden Zyrene Moon.
Ooh, quite the title.
How's it feel to be out of the den today?
Feels great, but I am no Rivington Bisland III.
Oh, it happened. We can change that. We'll change it later. Let's kick things off by looking at the starting lineups. We'll get right into it. Selecting on the blue side, it is Team Liquid. That means it is Impact in the top lane. It's Smithy roaming around in the jungle. Pobelts are holding it down in mid with the double lift at bot and his support now, Ole.
Yeah, that means Coach Kane doing the picks and bans. And that means on the red side, it's going to be Echo Fox. In the top lane, it's going to be Huni. Jungler is Dardoch. Mid lane, Phoenix. With bot laner, OpTic. Support Adrian and Coach Inero.
And we will see what these teams have for each other today despite picking up a win yesterday. Echo Fox once again showed a little sloppiness when it came to maintaining those early game leads.
Yeah, it's been a trend for Echo Fox where they get those leads very early on off of skirmishes and individual skill, but now they're showing a tendency to relinquish those advantages because of mid-game blunders where they just go very ham and it ends up backfiring. But the teams that they've been facing haven't been able to punish Echo Fox's overconfidence by taking a win, but now they face a team at the top of the standings.
Yeah, that could possibly do that. You don't want to be giving those opportunities to a squad like Team Liquid, who, despite taking their loss yesterday, sound a little more motivated here to stay at the top of the standings.
Yeah, you have to think, because last time Team Liquid lost, it was to 100 Thieves, and then immediately after that, they came back with a vengeance, creating that 3-game-in-a-row, fastest game of the split, back-to-back-to-back run. And yesterday, Doublelift tweeted out he didn't want to let Impact down again. So you can see already that they're remotivated and refocused for today's matchup and looking to bounce back.
Well, we'll see. It puts a little pressure on everybody. Doublelift, though, he tweeted in the early part of the year, this tweet holds me accountable. This one will hold him accountable as well. See if he can help out that Impact in the top side. He had a bit of a difficult game for himself yesterday, but also a lot of pressure was given towards that top side, so he fell behind. That is Impact.
Yeah, and now Impact, after that game yesterday that really did kind of look like it destroyed his mentality, that I'd never seen Impact like that. And now he's going up against Huni, who gets help in the top lane, plays a lot of those carry top laners, and this is another test for Impact, so we're seeing if these bounce back. So far, seems to be all smiles.
And we talk about a bit of aggression. You have Dardoch as well in that jungle versus Xmithy. You think a little bit of strategy, game control over, I'm in your face, I'm going to destroy that game control.
Yeah, Dardoch had some really good plays yesterday. His counter gank on Jax was fantastic on the top side of the map to really set his team ahead. And really, Dardoch and Huni have been big stars for this team, alongside Phoenix in the mid lane, who's going up against Pobelter. And Pobelter didn't really, I feel like people are saying, is he going to crush Jensen on Cloud9? Well, he was still the best performing member on Team Liquid yesterday, and even though he wasn't able to get an advantage in the mid lane, his game wasn't really revolving around that lane. So now he's up against Phoenix, who I feel like has been pushing his lanes forward, having a high forward percentage, and trying to push the tempo of the game by himself. So we'll see how Pobelter does up against Phoenix, who's had a surging split so far.
Juggling those hot hands there as the players prepare to get into the lobby. You look like we are just about ready to get into picks and bans. And I'm sure after watching the games today, these players are ready to bring out a few of the things we're seeing. Maybe some Skarner, a little more Jax, as Dardoch played that yesterday, as the junglers getting a bit more aggressive in some sense, and then ready for the late game in another sense with that Skarner pick. We'll see what happens here. Picks and bans in phase 1 of bans. Lucian and Zoe are off the board.
Lucian against Huni. This means,
go figure.
I feel like Gangplank is something that Team Liquid would be potentially first picking like they did yesterday, and now they're already banning away some champions that they're afraid of Huni having in that top side, so they're trying to set up Impact and Champion Select.
Even a little bit hit on Dardoch as well, as the Camille's been flopping around a little bit now. Second ban from Team Liquid. Tristana gets taken away from Doublelift, as he has had some great showings on that yesterday, or should I say last week.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you ban something like GP here, you leave Azir up for Phoenix unless you're going to first pick it. But that's going to be a blue side Azir ban, which I feel like is great for red side because that frees up a pick that you really just don't have to switch down.
Talia gets taken away from Pobelter. You were saying even in the loss yesterday, played that to pretty good effect. He won't have that chance. What is the priority here for Team Liquid? What do you think they're going to grab?
Well, the Rise.
They think they're going to grab the Rise.
The Rise sticks out to me because both Azir and Talia are gone. This leaves things like Galio potentially on the table that you can play into it. Corki is another one that has a pretty good time against the Rise. But remember, Phoenix has played Cassiopeia into Rise before as a counter pick. He's one of the only people to bring it out in the NALCS. So he might play that here specifically in this matchup.
Kalista locked in for OpTic, and they are going to grab that gangplank for Huni on the top side. He gives a little head nod saying, I can do damage, I can hang out in lane myself without too much help, but also crush it if I do get that assistance from Dardoch, which we may be expecting.
Yeah, and so they already have some safety in the bottom lane with the Kalista to help out Adrian, and a very big power pick in the early pressure for OpTic, but that'll be up against what won't be a Tristana, so it won't be one of Kalista's hardest matchups. So they're pretty good in Echo Fox's corner right now. And the GP, you're expecting the Gnar or the Vladimir to come out. Impact is going to go with the Gnar, the more tanky champion, or the one that builds more tank items. And we'll see what he's able to do here in his bounce-back game against Huni, who gets a lot of pressure.
That was a 3-0-6 for Impact on Gnar. Only has one play on that versus TSM in week 1 so far this split. But he obviously knows how to get into Mega Gnar and make things happen. Tarek locked in for Ole. We were thinking it was going to be something special today by word of Ole, but he says Tarek. We were thinking Morgana or something else.
Yeah, he said that he, on the NALCS lounge yesterday, he really did want to play a different champion yesterday, and then he's saying, I want to play my favorite champion, and it might be the Tarek here. He's going to play that, and like I had said before, the Cassiopeia for Phoenix as the counter pick to Rise comes through. It's kind of the no-brainer for Echo Fox as they've played it multiple times already.
All right, so the pinch on double lift now, possibly a Varus from Echo Fox next, as we see Adrian getting hit up here with the Alistar. There's the Varus. And what does Team Liquid answer with?
Yeah, Varus, of course, those double bans. Yeah. We'll see if they ban maybe Braum or Shen. Could be 2 more. There you go. The Shen goes down. This would push you towards Braum normally, but Adrian's support tier list is a little different. Tom Kench also comes to mind. Yeah.
Get him in there.
That's true. I do wonder, though, because I feel like Tom Kench is probably the best fit here for the composition.
I would agree.
But you might wait to pick that as you already could secure yourself a priority jungler. Braum for a little more aggression. Okay.
It's going to be.
So the Braum will help with that early aggression if you can get yourself concussive blows or a Winter's Bite stack. The Kalista can chase people down with the slow on top of it. It also allows Adrian to go for some fights and help engage and have a way to kind of get out after the Kalista ult.
I feel like that's a great point. Looking at the AoE they can throw down with the Gangplank ultimate and the Braum, you're getting things stuck in there for Cassiopeia. Kog'Maw going to be rotated onto 4 Team Liquid. Doublelift picks that up, and we're looking for something for Xmithie in the jungle. Sej is still up, as he wonders about what that selection will be.
Sejuani would be good. It would put a cleanse tax onto Phoenix in the mid lane and force him to take that summoner spell. And so the Sejuani does come through for Xmithie. This leaves things like Zac, Jarvan, Jax even available for Dardoch. And he has been loving the Zac. The engages have been fantastic from him all split long.
The Zac attack going to be abducting somebody hopefully before that Cosmic Radiance goes off if they're not in the pile to get that protection. Pretty big fight comp coming from Team Liquid. They can scrap in a fight real hard. It looks like Echo Fox kind of wants to kite that fight unless they get the perfect initiation.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of initiation power for Echo Fox from the Zac combined with GP makes it much easier for the Zac ultimate to land if somebody is slowed and you can get that elastic slingshot onto them for the starter. But then you also have Team Liquid with a backline that isn't very mobile, and they're going to try to play these fights with the Tarek invulnerability from Ole. So I'm really looking at Dardoch to start these fights off for Echo Fox correctly when they reach that mid game. But we don't know if it'll reach that point because TL have had explosive early games, and Echo Fox have had those mid game blunders where these teams, their strengths and their weaknesses match up in a little bit of a lopsided way.
And I kind of want to track that as we get into the early part of this game. The Zac and the Sej can still be pretty active early, but kind of, do you see this being a composition where Echo Fox can find themselves controlling everything where they've been losing control in that early game?
I feel like Echo Fox will now say, hey, our top laner and our mid laner scale, it might be a bottom lane focus here. OpTic and Adrian didn't have that great of a game yesterday, so maybe that's where they're going to try to look here, because a Kog'Maw, for myself, when I see that as a jungler, and especially when you're playing Zac, that just looks like Gank City.
Get down there, give them the razzle-dazzle, and make them taste a little bit of their own medicine. We're heading into the Rift for Game 4 of the day, Team Liquid versus Echo Fox. As these teams at the top of the standings, 5-2 Liquid versus 6-1 Echo Fox. Continue. Top of the standings, who's going to get the win, though? We'll find out right now.
And this is a split where Echo Fox fans in full force. Right now, they win this, they are tied for first place. And in fact, it would even have tiebreaker over Cloud9 because they're the only team that has taken a game off of C9. So, Echo Fox, this is a complete reversal from the splits they've had before, where they had been 7th place near the bottom of the standings consistently. And so, as we had heard earlier, fans definitely cheering for Fox.
Definitely a bit of a position they found themselves into this season where they said, kind of rested on our laurels for a bit. Felt like we were too strong, got in our own heads. The practice becomes a little lax, and you don't go into the game thinking, or you go into the game thinking nobody can really beat you.
Yeah, I was talking, or I guess I overheard Dardoch talking to Phoenix after they had had that game where it almost got away from them, and Phoenix had this like 1v3 near Baron. And instead of being like, man, we shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have like elastic slingshotted into the Dragon Pit, he was more like, oh man, wouldn't it have been cool if you had won that 1v3? It's like, wait, you shouldn't be encouraging him to take those, but that's the type of environment that Echo Fox has. They're all encouraging and empowering of each other, and it's really interesting because this was the team that everybody's like, oh, they're going to implode after they lose. They have all these egos, but it really seems like a lot of them are humbled by each other, and they really just wanted to play with very skilled teammates, and now they're on a team where they have that, and everybody is kind of empowering and encouraging one another.
It is really working for them. No one ego is kind of toppling the other, and it's starting to come together very well. We'll see if they can hold it throughout this early game. You see the Keystone, or the Runes, I should say, popping up on either side as junglers make their way to second buff. I should say first buff.
Well, for Dardoch, yes. Because
yes.
Dardoch went with a leashless Raptor start, and now he's starting on the top side of the map. It was warded by Smithy, though, but this is usually a jungle route you'll take so that you can get to the bottom side of the map and go for a gank like you were saying, where this may be a bottom focus from Echo Fox, whereas Team Liquid, they have a winning top lane, and they could play off of that.
Mooney playing it safe here on the top. Expect him to have a bit better of a game on his game plan than he has lately.
Mooney?
Back just gnars out and stays safe.
Yeah, and let's take a look really quickly at the Keystones, because Huni is running the Grasp of the Undying. This is actually the highest win rate gangplank Keystone in solo queue, because it helps you sustain, gives you some extra damage, and then eventually makes you a little bit tankier, as opposed to Klepto, which is just there to get you gold.
Oh,
Smithy
hello.
went for the invade, because Dardoch did a full topside clear, and Smithy was already routing towards that area.
See what happens in the bot lane, too. If they can get a bit of a push on here, they might be able to cycle around, knowing Dardoch does not have blue. Add a bit of pressure.
Ooh, wow, you would expect Dardoch to back here, but he's going for a really tricky, unexpected top lane play here onto Impact.
Why not? You have the passive. A lot of times you can put yourself in that stressful situation and then play it a bit safer. We'll start to back off on that as we see level 2s and 3s in the bot lane here. 3s get hit by Fox. The 2 was hit by Double and Nole, but it has switched since. It's Belter and Phoenix trade in the mid lane. Interesting, the lanes are going a bit hard here to start things off without the jungler intervention.
Belter?
Usually they're waiting, but not this time. There goes the cleanse, gets it out. Phoenix getting pushed back in the lane, but still taunting Belter into the last line of caster minions, thinking he might get that extra damage.
Yeah, got the cleanse out of Phoenix there. And now Phoenix just walking up, kind of threatening, because there's potential to hold on bottom lane play.
This game is on fire right now. Double it, forced the flash. OpTic forward, could get the run down. Now to mid lane, Phoenix flashes down, the rinse repeat. As they come in with Belter flashing forward for the kill. Now a back and forth in bot lane leaves everybody limping away from the situation and chugging potions. And summoners are down on the side of Team Liquid.
And this has really just been Dardoch not being able to get much of the game here because he went to the top side, got chunked out, spent so much time in that top bush that he was expected to be closer to mid during these types of plays. So the fact that he went for that risky play has actually put a lot of his lanes at risk here. And you can see where he is on the map. He would have been a minute or so further along in his jungle route and could have been able to counter something like this. But I love that Belter and Smithy are ready to capitalize on this, and they even get the flash to boot.
Right at the last moment. You always ask yourself why you did that.
Because I could have lived!
Your finger always does it regardless. No push in top. Cooney still has impact locked into his turret for now. This will actually give good pressure to the map if he can draw Smithy back up to that side. However, Impact playing safe shouldn't have too much trouble, and Smithy has already started to make quick work in mid lane. Getting Belter going is going to be a good thing. They're saying kind of overshadowed in their losses, great in their wins, but we'll see if he can start it off and show that he's the one that has the power.
Yeah, and getting that first blood assist and the tier very early on for himself. We'll see if he's able to, snowball this further. But look at this, another gank mid, no flash onto Phoenix, and Smithy's coming around. But he gets spotted by Phoenix, kind of knowing that his other side was warded up with a control ward, so he couldn't actually match it.
They're keeping very safe.
There's so much vision control for Team Liquid in the mid lane that Dardoch needs to back, get a control ward, get his Tracker's Knife, because Xmithie's jungle route got him to back with Tracker's Knife very early on, and he was able to track Dardoch during those first few minutes afterwards, where Dardoch couldn't really counter, and so this has left Phoenix in a really bad position, and you can see as he pushes up, he has a risk of a gank here through the control wards.
Xmithie still living on the top side of that jungle. Pobelter playing it very calm as well, not showing any different positioning to alert Phoenix to a possible gank. And Xmithie coming in all sneakily. He's just gonna walk away.
Just swapping to the other side.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go through. You know I'm here. You know I'm here. A little fight between Pobelter and Phoenix as he knows he can get in there with a quick shield.
Yeah, and as Phoenix levels up, has the presence of mind from the precision tree, so he just spams all of his spells, tries to dump mana and push the wave. And now he teams up with Dardoch here to clear out a control board. Mid vision, we talked about Pobelter playing against Phoenix here. This is a big matchup for these two, and a lot of mid control should be on the side of TL. With Dardoch now finally finding a way to get to these lanes, you can see Pobelter's not having it, he's just going to back up.
It's going to be tough too. Pobelter with that stopwatch could easily make quick work of that gank and have Xmithie behind him, as he already is in the back pocket to start things off. It seems like that's where the party's going to stay for a while.
Yeah, and when you play against Zac, Zac has very unique gank routes into mid lane. He's one of the champions where Raptors into the middle of the lane is very doable. So you always have to watch out for those, and you can tell that Team Liquid are focused on tracking Dardoch, making sure that, ooh, hit the wrong one. Focused on tracking Dardoch and making sure that he can't get into these lanes. So right now, TL in a pretty good spot right now. Remember, they're, oh wait, this is two people here. Dardoch gets it.
Dardoch's going to be able to hang out for a while. Passive still up. If you don't remember, is working with that blue buff you just stole. Great damage from Huni to participate in the fight before he can get there. Dardoch low, as Xmithie may be able to surge back into this fight and stop him up. They don't want to take any barrels though, as it is very back and forth. Nobody finds a champion to zero out, but blue buff stolen by Dardoch.
Yeah, that's actually big because it would have allowed Pobelter to get back to mid lane because he's out of mana now, but he would have had a blue buff for him, so now he has to take a back that he really doesn't want to take, as well as blowing his heal there for no summoner spells from Echo Fox.
Ooh. Trading back and forth. Not stinging too much yet for impact, so he knows he can stay in range to get his hands dirty in this situation. 69-74 for the bot lane. Everything's actually pretty even except for that CS we just saw Pobelter miss in mid lane. He'll have a bit to clean up here.
You'll get some of that underneath the turret, but not much. It's
Yeah.
still going to be an advantage for Phoenix because they've been able to reverse the pressure.
And
remember,
Ugon, no tier stack.
yeah, remember, this is a counter pick for Phoenix. The Cassiopeia should be winning this matchup, and Xmithie's early pressure is what reversed it, as well as Pobelter playing well. But look at this first ulti. Whoa!
Kind of leads him a little bit on that one. Stopwatch pretty early for OpTic. Thinking big damage going to come down early. And now he gets taken down. Flash still up for him if they want to go crazy later, but that heal was there and he goes down.
Yep, not able to really block for him, and OpTic doesn't flash, like you said, blows the heal, but that's a successful gank from Xmithie to set up that bottom lane Kog'Maw, which is the big scaler here for Team Liquid.
Infernal Drake time. This will actually feel pretty good for all the damage that Team Liquid's composition can be doing. It doesn't look like they actually try too much. Vision around the area is going to be gained by Fox, but they won't place too much. They can protect these wards. OpTic back to lane, and Team Liquid looks like they'll get a push and a bat. We'll see this again.
Yeah, comes out from the tri-brush immediately, hugs the wall because there's a control ward on the other side, throws it still in the path so those don't flow. Like, it's one of those memes, but it's actually something that where if you lead him, he might flash into it, he might jump into it, but even if he flashes, he'll still end up in the slow. And keep in mind, it is a pretty potent slow, especially when it explodes. It lasts for a long time. I believe it lasts for about 3 seconds after it blows up.
That is an eternity. Anything longer than 2 seconds, you're like, is it gonna end?
Yeah.
Is it going to lose shield 6 seconds?
Yeah,
What?
it slows for 3 seconds, and it's an 80% slow, so after it blows up. So
Basically forever. Ooh, grounded by Miasma. Locks him in. Gets the back minion, but pushes him against the wall. Petrifying Gaze goes down, but he still has quite a bit of tankiness behind him with the build.
That looked like Dardoch was going to commit to it completely. He got the Q and then started to walk away, but that's still Pobelter chunked out and a little extra damage. But hold on, Xmithie is actually flanking mid lane.
And it looks like there's a small rotation from Adrian, but they were just clearing wards from OpTic. I thought a lot more was going to happen there. And Xfinity says, all right, vision on you, Dardoch. You're going to go for my jungle. I'll go for your jungle. Not going to get a teleport from Impact on the top side. Long walk for him as the lane is reset. And we're seeing the action from Team Liquid here.
Right onto it.
Remember, you said from the Raptor Pit, Zyrene almost getting Cole Belcher to go down. He gets himself to safety.
Yep. Not able to get him, though, even though he was grounded. Not able to quite stick the landing there for the Zac. But Pobelter gets out and gets back to lane after switching out for the teleport. Taking stock of all the lanes. Pretty much even CS across the board here for everybody. Small advantages here and there based on waves pushing. So we do have to look at the scaling and things like that Infernal Drake and the kills that TL have picked up for themselves. Because that'll help the Kog'Maw out a lot, as well as the Ryze in this early part of the game.
So not that any team has failed at doing anything as of yet, but would you have liked to see something happen for a team at this point in the game?
It's mostly just Dardoch took a big gamble on the top side of the game very early on, which could have put him in a better position mid. And it's one of those sunk cost things where you'll go top, say, I'm already here, I've spent 30 seconds here. You really do have to cut yourself off earlier than that. But it's one where if he were able to actually get an advantage for Huni, it could be a very different game. But this is the state that Echo Fox's game is in right now, and TL right now are in the lead. I think it's very well deserved because Pobelter has been playing well in this counter.
Absolutely. Locking it up, or waiting for Smithy if he needs to, but also not forgetting the fact that he's against his Zac. If they don't have the correct wards, he's got to play very careful. A little low on mana for this one, but it looks like he wants to take the fight, knows that Smithy is there, so kind of puts himself in a position that says this one's going long. And Phoenix backs out a little too much.
And you can just see how much work that blue buff is doing there, because Pobelter is really taxing his mana pool as he goes for these clears with the Catalyst and the Tier. He really does want to have more, and Phoenix has been able to get his, whereas there's this very stark mana pool difference here between the two. And that might put Ryze on the top side, being desperate to get his blue buff that's coming up right now, and that leaves an opening for a play on the bottom side that may get taken up here as you see 4 people playing the map right now for Echo Fox to look bottom.
Absolutely. That was a great eye. Just seeing TL go through, place all these wards in a support jungle position. Now we have Dardoch and Adrian just filed through the backside of Dragon, ready to clear everything out and have vision. One final ward placed by Ole does see Dardoch, so they know things might get a little hairy in the bot lane as mid lane again toe-to-toe for a few attacks. They just do not stop.
They see him.
Ducked it over, 1-2, oh, he gets himself to safety. The slippery Zac could go down. Passive gonna come up here. Ultimate pops there for Xfinity, still gets out for the slow is on Dardoch, finds himself a way out. Has he baited Adrian in? Oh my god, baits call! Gets him out! Now he hops over the wall, and abracadabra! Echo Fox is alive. Nobody died!
They all come down for Dardoch, and he gets away by the skin of his teeth, and they get a lot for that in terms of summoner spells off of Echo Fox.
Interesting. And still these guys are on an island up top. Let's see if they can.
There's a ward from Ole. Dardoch is actually going to use his ultimate first, gets over, gets knocked up, gets fully stacked, but the E isn't fast enough there. Stuns him afterwards, and then Adrian jumps in to try and get a slow. Dardoch flashes the other way, and then right before Adrian is about to die, that Kog'Maw ulti looked like it was about to finish him off.
That was less than 50 HP. That was awesome. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
The plays that need to be made. And having those kinds of summoners down, the overreach for a play allows you to go a little harder on the next play. Because everybody's in such chaos. A little lane control grab there just by HP. But that Echo Fox setting up again.
That's where we see the butterfly effect of what would that have looked like if OpTic had had his ulti and Adrian had had his as well? Are they able to flash on the double lift to force his flash, etc.? But they get nothing there, and instead, I'm looking mostly at TP advantage.
Whoa.
But hold up.
That's not who you want to see when you turn the corner. Oh, wait, Dardoch! A new player enters the fight, and now it's going to be a kill going on to Ole. They did not expect so many behind Adrian. And here comes Phoenix over the wall with the blast cone. Gonna start slowing him down, gonna start locking him down. Sinks the phase in as Dardoch picks up another kill for himself.
And that's the game plan, just helping out with the GP ulti, and Dardoch now focusing on the bottom side with this Infernal up. This puts Echo Fox right back in the driver's seat.
He's been holding off 133 to 147 there as Impact trying to do just that on the top side. Petrifying gaze. Pobelter not really goal side to his objective. He needs to get back to safety. Flashed over the wall. No vision in the brush. Tries to get the noxious blast down, but does not carry his speed along with him. Phoenix cannot catch up.
Yep, gets the flash out of him, but blows his own in the process. That's Infernal, and you could see they didn't really have anybody else from Echo Fox help out because they're just trying to get the maximum here as they get that first turret, or second turret actually, as the first one went down already.
All right, how many do we have to watch again? How many fights? Let's watch this again.
Welcome to Echo Fox vs. TL. There will be fighting here, especially with things like this Zac. You can see, jumps in, Olay, even if he flashes away, he's gonna get slowed by the GP ulti, so it's a lose-lose situation because of the setup. And that was a play that TL were looking to make as Adrian was on the wrong side. And then Dardoch is there to help counter.
Those wards have paid off behind Dragon Pit so far. Echo Fox has been able to use them over and over again. Double lift in a sore spot. Cosmic Radiance not necessarily being used for this one, but they do get the stopwatch from it.
Looks like they want to keep going.
Of course, why not? You got these summoners out in the last fight pressuring now. Team's feeling good. He's just stretching back to give that aggression as they jockey for position. Rift Herald back to full. This means TL can dance a little bit longer. TP coming in from a half Mega Gnar. It's going to be a tiny impact when he comes in, but it can still be a big play. A lot of damage going over onto Echo Fox. Altex gets deleted immediately. They trade back for Pobelter. And now it's Adrian and Phoenix trying to get the safety as he protects his mid laner. Dazzle goes down onto Huni, gets himself out with a sliver of health. Ole goes down as a Winter's Bite freezes him up, and Dardoch lives. A very dangerous game that Echo Fox plays, but it keeps them alive.
And a triple kill for Phoenix. He played that fight so well, especially on the back half of it. Double Lift was getting pot shots, free hits on multiple people, and that would have been TL cleaning that one up if Echo Fox didn't reassess the fight in the middle of it.
Absolutely incredible in a fight that relies on wards, place wards, cleared sweepers during the fight, losing, gaining vision. Those are chaotic. 5-3 here, 17-40 in, and the gold is still very
looking for Double Lift here. This is a support and a jungler.
He might focus for the kill at that point. He knows he's going to go down one last hit. Concussive blows! And they take down Double Lift. Another one for Dardoch on the Zac pick.
This Zac has been doing wonders for him and Echo Fox. This guy, remember when he came in, it was the Lee Sin, the clean Lee Sin.
Yep.
Mostly off of things like getting kills and getting engaged with the kickback. But the Zac for him on Echo Fox just really is so telegraphed that he's going to go in, the team better follow. And he's been having an outstanding split.
It's a dirty Zac. You can't have a clean Zac. It's not something that happens. You're picking up crap all over the rift. It's dirty, but it's good. It's good dirty.
It's like when you have, or Play-Doh or something like that, and it gets hair in it, you're like, no.
No. I'm sure he's got a lot of that impact hair right now as they head towards the top side. Furry Gnar goes down. Impact, after playing safe all game, finds himself a sore spot after this one.
Yeah, watch this, because Dardoch's Elastic Slingshot is down, and Double Lift gets a lot of damage off in this fight here over the wall because of the position. So the TP comes in from the top side, and Echo Fox immediately go, it's time to engage on the bottom side. Altec pulls in Adrian, throws him onto Pobelter, and then the ulti towards Olay as well help. But look at Double Lift, just free hitting right here, hitting Phoenix, who walks away, and now Double Lift just has to fight. With no flash to get over that wall, he has to walk all the way around, so his damage output falls off drastically here as Phoenix does so much work with Huni's ultimate, slowing people down afterwards.
Dardoch very good. We get right back in. Altec went down first last fight. They were still able to come out on top. The focus is back to him as Impact flashes forward and picks up a kill. Pobelter has already fallen, but Impact goes down. Xfinity as well. The Retribution kills for Altec as they pick up 2 more Liquid members and look towards mid.
Echo Fox give teams no time to breathe. They are absolutely relentless with how often they pick fights. When you have a Zac that is not ultimate dependent on when he can start a damn fight, Dardoch is going in constantly. We just got out of that last one in the replay, and they're already picking up more kills here. And this is the Fox style where they lean on those skirmishes.
Talked about it. If they get that engaged, they're going to want it. Otherwise, they kite the fight, but they have been in go mode to start things off. Dardoch on the Zac, 4-0-4 as we get things going. Started off in the mid lane after Phoenix got hit. They tried to pressure, and now it's just continued. We'll see how this one started again.
It's a counter. It's another counter gank here because it looks pretty juicy. They get Pobelter 2-on-3, and then the ultimate to pull 2 people back, keep Altec alive just long enough. Gets the kite, blows the flash from Impact, but now the reinforcement from Huni is there. and they're able to clean up. A 3-for-1 definitely favors Equifax. You don't need math for that.
Going to have to start looking at these teleport windows, summoner windows, and what is up, because it seems like the windows for TL to fight are getting much, much smaller.
Oh, I just feel like Equifax don't care about windows. They're going to bash through the panes immediately if they see an opportunity.
Right.
They see a fight that they want, they are going.
There's a draft. Where will they go next? All that vision towards the top side of mid just allowed Dardoch and the team to get into a gank. But they are able to protect a lot of that as well. TL's gotten their vision towards Baron, which is good. Keep the fundamental eyes on the objective. The power and numbers that Fox moves with, along with placing these boards once again, very hard to take them down or under their skin at this point.
This is another early game that TL did all right in, but they weren't able to have those same 27-minute crushing types of early games.
Yeah.
And that has to be a worry for them moving forward, because they just weren't able to do it versus 100 Thieves. Versus Equifax here, it's been a 21-minute and a half game so far, and they're behind. And then even yesterday against Cloud9, TL may be looking at coming into the week tied for first, and then having an 0-2 week where they were playing the other two teams that were tied at the top of the standings. TL has to get the rest of this game together, take a breath, and not let Equifax dictate this game.
It's about Equifax as well, kind of identifying that that was happening in the early game. We saw Xmithy topside, Dardoch pushed out of his jungle immediately. Xmithy then to mid, they take down Phoenix right away after a 1v1 flash is gone. And then it kind of was just Fox saying, oh, all right, let's slow it down and let's play our game.
And Fox, their game is just constant
Slow it
pressure.
down and then speed it up.
Exactly. They're just like, hold
Kinda
up.
like they stalled for a second and then hit right back into gear.
It's like, okay, can we take this? Yes, we can't go. And that was all they needed, is that brief pause to put the pressure on. And now this is the second Infernal here for Equifax.
Putting a little burn on that, a little more damage for the team, 9-4. The 3K gold lead, this thing starts to mount up on the side of Equifax.
It's interesting because OpTic has been a primary focus for Team Liquid in these fights. You can see, has those 3 deaths to his name, but right now, we are seeing big power spikes for Huni and for Phoenix as he's hitting that 2-item point. And you really feel like the Callista is going to start falling off as the Cogmog comes up, but the other 2 carries of Equifax will do a lot of the heavy lifting here.
Also, OpTic's probably only gotten maybe 1,000 to a bit over that damage in the fight with how fast he's been going down, and the team able to clean that up and pick the fight back up is absolutely huge. Very demoralizing as well when you see that happen. You think you got the bot laner, the fight should be easy, your next priority target, could even be a tank at that point, you feel. It is not here for Equifax as they work around these fights beautifully so far, and again, they go to gain control over the top side of the map.
Yep, you want to control mid and top during this point of the game because there's Baron on the table and no Dragon. Cassiopeia, if left alone, would be able to go for a very quick Baron. This is a team that really could decimate the Baron with Cassiopeia plus the Callista for the Rend. You can't leave them alone with that objective as they push their way into the topside jungle and try to get some control. But I feel like the reason they're not doing a Baron right now is the fact that Huni doesn't have TP and he wouldn't be able to contribute. So they're kind of waiting for that cooldown before they do pull a trigger on even a bait.
Fizzled out on the Gnar, seconds on Adrian, Summoners, seconds on Huni's. As we just said, those teleports are coming up. And the Summoner spells flash. Everybody wants those for the fight, or maybe we'll start it in the fight. Cosmic Radiance blown
and
for
flash.
The initiation. That is absolutely huge. Dardoch is just flexing all over right now.
But that's huge because the flash is down too, and you want that as Cogmog because you're going to get GP ulti pretty much every fight. And when you have a GP ulti on top of you as a flashless AD carry, you have to kind of limp away from the fight, and you don't really get to help too much.
All he wants to do is stand still. All he wants to do is just sit there. He does have the Quicksilver Sash to try to get himself to safety now, but his job just got a lot harder.
Feel like he started. Yep, here they go.
On the other side, there's the teleport coming in from the top. Full Belter and Impact. No, yes, no. Is he going towards Impact or away? Because they are splitting the fight a little too much. The focus is on the top side. Impact into the wall. If he can sweep him, gets himself to the bot side now, and they are doing a beautiful job of routing Equifax in this fight from what looked like a very scary entry.
And that's going to be huge for Team Liquid. They'll even up the gold here if they get this Baron, and that looks like one that Dardoch isn't even going to try to contest now.
What a flip-flop in the fight. Beautifully done by Team Liquid. Just waiting the last few seconds, taunting Fox around to get Moody's teleport up and make sure they can get to that fight. Sorry, Impact's teleport up.
That fight was all over the place. I like how Doublelift was one of the last people to come into the fight because he's the flashless carry. And then the ultimate from Huni, watch this. When it comes in, because it's in an awful position here. It is right on top of Doublelift, but they aren't going after him. They're going after Kovalter. Bottom right-hand corner of the screen here. The GP ulti comes down, but Doublelift just is already walking out of it, and there's no threat on him, which is the way that Fox would want to approach the fight. But Kovalter is able to avoid being engaged from Dardoch, and that just completely shuts down the plan from Fox, as TL have those fancy feet.
Absolutely. Coming in very clean on that. It's almost like they wanted Fox to finally cycle into that little area to fight in. And now the push towards mid lane, ready to open up the map. Get those wards to encroach a little bit more. Here comes Dardoch.
Still going.
Pop back with the assault charge, I believe, from McSmithy there. Wasn't able to get a quick initiation. And now they're waiting for the next wave. 5v5 in the mid lane. Looks like Kovalter peels off for just a moment and gets some wards in.
But yeah.
Oh, let's go for the waves, so the team's gonna hold mid.
That looked like a really simple fight to take from just, you have the ulti,
yeah,
be going after Doublelift when you see him because it's pretty easy to pick him up. But they went after Kovalter, who outplayed.
26 minutes in, starting the 1-4 split. Mid lane's gonna get knocked down here as they have to respect what is happening on the top side. Smithy also posturing, making sure that the team can have the distance.
Yeah, when you have the Warmogs on Sejuani, you can go ahead and tank. He has no armor items, but this doesn't matter. You just walk up, tank the turret, and then you'll recover that HP before a fight really happens. And now Impact on the top side to defend if Phoenix were to go aggressive.
Ooh, that slow might have activated the Rune Prison fight that they wanted. That blue buff on Kovalter means he's going to be machine gun phase just as much as Phoenix at this point. Good clears in the mid lane. Huni making it hard even for the Baroned up minions to get through to those waves, but they do grab one and have a minute and a half left on Baron.
Yeah, but the gold almost even here, and TL have clawed their way back into this game and showing signs of that late game team fighting that we were talking about. Everybody sees everybody else with the sweeper.
Ooh, Petrifying Gaze just missed. The entire team turns back.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's the last second turret takedown. And sometimes it triggers people to initiate. I don't know what it is. You gotta be careful. Dardoch went in, the team could not follow behind him, only the slingshot used there, but ultimate just whipping on the grab, so they have to be careful that they cannot grab those priority targets for a little bit now.
Is reaching, but it's not far
enough. That's job.
Yeah, good. He's just gonna get blown up one of these days. That is so aggressive, and he's still finding some ways to go for elastic slingshots and fish for them. Still trying. Stave off his Baron. There's 30 seconds left on it here, and we have that Mountain Drake coming up just now, so that's really where TL are going to position. But simultaneously, Fox are not going to have it. They're going to go to the top side to make sure that their waves are clear and that OpTic can get some farm here because he's falling behind. The rest of the team is just going to clear out mid. TL now even in gold, but even in Drakes as well.
3 of those Infernal Drakes on the map means no more Infernals. We do see a mountain coming through. We get a few more of those Oceans, Cloud Drakes, what have you. But I don't know if that's going to be the focus right now. Seeing that turret go down means TL has a bit more objective control. That'll definitely help as they approach these last inner turrets. Great power play by them over Baron. And now they have a bit of control on the map, but it's really anybody's game. They make one wrong move, and Echo Fox has the fight that they want, just as TL had that last.
And I absolutely love this type of game state because we are at that mid, almost late game point where the gold is even. We have even Drakes right now, and it's about these team fights and these engages and how the teams are playing in terms of communication with one another. The lane phase is by far and away, it's over now. And so we're getting into that juicy part of the game where the rotations come through, and I want to see these elastic slingshots from Dardoch hit somebody that he really wants it to, but I want to see TL, like Smithy's been doing, try to interrupt them. So it's back and forth playing around each other's win conditions.
Slow moves towards the bot side. Obviously the only wave being pushed in right now as the team patiently waits for mid to creep up. Lots of wards there for Team Liquid and Echo Fox to make sure the initiation doesn't come from too far away as Dardoch
Doublelift has flash back up.
Shot. Gets himself ready. Adrian just used the Unbreakable though. 4 members there in the eyes of Dardoch and team. Cannon Barrage gets thrown down. And now nobody covers on the bot side. A little bit of a rotation for Kovalter, but it looks like he does decide to stay and get some extra damage on the bot.
Yeah, again, The Cannon Barrage comes out, but then it was an instant stun from Olay onto Dardoch, so Dardoch couldn't even get his ultimate channeling before that actually went off. So Olay, right on point with the protection there, making sure that they can't kidnap Doublelift, who is the primary target here for the Zac.
Meganar down, the last few shots on the turret. Doublelift able to get into range. Mercurial Scimitar to keep him safe if anything goes crazy, and his items finished as well with that Rage Blade charged up. He is doing a lot more damage than OpTic at this point off the bat.
And now Doublelift is in a position where he has the ability and the tools to outplay incoming engagements, and then the ball is in his court to really just execute. So Doublelift now has the upper hand on TL, and you can see Smithy saying nope, Arctic Assault.
Dardoch low stops the slingshot right away. Not the first time he's done that, whether it's at the end of the slingshot or the beginning. He knows that that completely stops the fight, and he's got enough safety to get out.
And that, like we were talking about, where I want to see these teams match up that engage right there and then the counter engage, because when you play Zac, you normally think about, oh, I don't want to play against Janna or Thresh because the Flay or the ultimates will stop me from getting in, but Sejuani is able to do that as well. But it's a little bit more difficult to do so because Arctic Assault is one of your primary tools for throwing your ultimate, because it hides the ultimate animation from Sejuani and allows her to keep momentum. So a lot of people
You're also
find it too.
in after that, basically in most situations. You gotta be very careful, but Smithy has it. Feeling good, the whole team as well feels pretty good after being able to stave off the early game. And man, that feels good.
Minion Dematerializer might have helped him out at the start too. So that is that oddly satisfying.
Yep. You don't get that too much anymore. Back and forth. That is a big Zac.
Yeah, it looks like he has the Elixir of Iron as well. Increases the size.
Little turret damage. Able to bust on things. Baron is up. It would be great to try and get a flash or an ultimate out of anybody on the map. That's kind of the priority right now. Impact's going to leave that bot lane to see if they might be able to get something started middle. They have
number 30.
Wards for Fox. Impact's coming from the fog of war here. Adrian very low. Fate's Call brings him in. Does he go into the fight or out of the fight? He's in on two members. Ole and Xfinity get popped up as Cosmic Radiance comes down. And Ole now kind of left on his own here at the back of the fight. And Pobelter, what is going on in this fight? That's going to be an R going down. Impact plays coming in from Fox. And they find Pobelter alive but soon dead as he goes down in a 2v1 situation. Imagine if they were 5v5 fights, how they would be controlled like that.
And we were talking about it where Echo Fox love the skirmishes. They get one that favors them, and now the Baron on the table. Dardoch is below half HP though. He's at like a quarter. He smited early. It's Callista's job to rend it.
Oh, baby Zac in the pit.
They gotta keep Sedge out.
Come out. Beautiful job. Actually, grabbed up by Phoenix. Going in, almost gets the elastic grab. And the slingshot is just too short. Echo Fox turn the game back on its head. 33 minutes in.
Once again, they get control. This fight here divided. Dardoch goes in, gets interrupted, and then Doublelift is skirting this fight. But you can see here, gets pushed out by the ultimate, can't deal as much damage as he would like, and then the invulnerability comes down. So the landscape of the fight changes here as Dardoch forces another flash out of Doublelift because he flashes away, and so OpTic just gets to make Impact a pin cushion here on the bottom side of the fight and clean him up. The GP ultimate and then the Zac threatening the Kog'Maw were huge to make it so that low mobility carry has to blow flash and can't contribute.
Such scattered fights, and those are the kind of fights as well you have enough time to see. Like, if we played that differently, Pobelt just lives versus a 3v1 in a situation with another shield, one of those lockets on him. Absolutely insane. So I don't actually think we've seen how this game could play out yet. Echo Fox doing a great job of putting it back in their favor for now, though.
But this is such an interesting game because that was not a front-to-back team fight. That was a flanking team fight where I definitely think that TL would favor front-to-back, having a Nara, Sejuani, and a Taric versus the Zac and the Braum for Echo Fox. You want to have a front-to-back team fight here with the Kog'Maw, but Dardoch is trying to make it a dive fight where he can get on the Kog'Maw, because I talked about the scaling for TL. It's mostly Kog'Maw and a little bit of Ryze, but the Cassiopeia, the Gangplank, definitely scale better than their lane counterparts. So Echo Fox would deal more damage in a straight-up fight, but you do want to make it so that you can threaten the Kog'Maw and push him back, which is exactly what they've been doing with Dardoch.
See if they can push it back a little bit more. Now Team Liquid's resources have to be split between top and bottom. How do they decide to do it? It looks like Pobelter, rightly so, will control the bottom lane by himself as they try to clear up these minions heading down the mid lane. Baron buff is there. Get a little more damage. And
Oh, Phoenix.
On these minions. Like they want to initiate but can't. Little pokes from short range is what Team Liquid has to work with right now. As soon as he starts entering the base, him and Impact are going to dance on the bot side. Short dance.
Yeah, but so far, Doublelift is kind of the only one doing well in this game for Team Liquid in terms of his scoreline. But you can see they're just trying to get it, and there it is.
Oh, Marcus got back in. They stopped Dardoch from getting his positioning. Impact able to get away before they locked together two members. Cosmic Radiance goes down. That was some big damage coming in from the side of Team Liquid. They could get the exit kills that they want. But how far can they push back? All the waves are pushed towards them. They kind of just have to play a game of cat and mouse with Fox right now.
That was so well done from TL. Like, Smithy stopped Dardoch from getting in and even channeling ultimate or flashing, and then they reassessed the fight. They got out of the GP ultimate, which has just been stuffing Doublelift's damage, and then we had the Cosmic Radiance come down for them as they went for the re-engage. That's how they need to approach these fights, is stuff the engage from Fox and then re-engage with using the Terran.
Another Mountain Drake going over now. That will mean Elder is next, and we will see this fight one more time. You're saying Doublelift able to keep himself in a position.
Yeah, but the GP just makes it a living hell for AD carry.
Yep.
So you see he has to walk all the way through. Smithy saves his bacon there. Doublelift has to walk all the way around. Now he gets to deal some damage, pops the W then, and goes forward. But now he's basically clearing minion waves as they once again go for a play here. An Impact flashes off the back of Olay going for the stun there to set it up.
See where the chase has left us. Dragon and Fox has backed now towards the top side of the map. One last outer turret for themselves to take down. The Baron buff has worn off recently for Echo Fox.
But TL have double Mountain Drakes for themselves. It's going to help them out so much in taking down the Baron. They're able to get map control again. They don't have their inhibitor down, which will help them a lot without having that super minion wave pushing. Now we're looking at a point in the game where, once again, team fighting is king, and assessing these fights is what's going to win them for the team, because we've been seeing small adaptations, right? It's like, oh, I didn't block that time. I should block every single time now. So you aren't seeing Smithy throw those ultis and try to engage, right? He's not trying to pick out OpTic with a Sejuani ulti because he has QSS, or Phoenix, who now has Cleanse, or GP, who has a way to get it off with the orange. He's waiting to just counter what happens from Dardoch.
Fantastic damage on the Dardoch to start things off. Even with his sustain, still will take him a bit to get back to safety. Start working around the map. I feel like Team Liquid is poised and ready to take a very, very big fight. Echo Fox is kind of pressured in to say, yeah, Baron's going to be there, we can go for that, but this inhibitor looks really nice. And CL, I feel like they can just take advantage of this. It's almost kind of a stalemate in Echo Fox's eyes.
Echo Fox are just waiting to find that moment. Phoenix doesn't have flash right now, and that's big for them because you want that up onto Cassiopeia.
We got halfway to go.
The Baron is up in 1 minute and 45 seconds, and that Cassiopeia... Hold on, though.
Ooh. Just wide left.
Yeah.
Good movement by Phoenix, giving himself some speed as he came into the lane. Gets the safety on that one, keeps his blue buff, but still, that's the ult down. Kind of thinking of these things late game, how much those windows matter, and you know Team Liquid's going to play a little safe now.
Yeah, he knew that Phoenix didn't have flash, but had Cleanse. If he could get it there, it means he wouldn't have it for the Baron that's coming up. But DPS for Echo Fox just runs straight down mid. They're looking for this inhibitor. They may get it here.
Nice block by Adrian. Don't have to worry about being slowed on the way in or out.
Oh, Impact popped the Gargoyle Snowflake there.
Dardoch committed on that one, but they did not go back onto it. Didn't have enough, and he's not exactly the primary focus of the fight. All summoners up except for that flash on Phoenix and the flash on Impact to the left side. This is going to be one hell of a fight as we get to it. Not even 6 items yet on champions around the map, so there's still quite a bit of power to go in this game.
Yeah, Doublelift has a way to go to get there. Rise still powering up, whereas Huni, he's got extra bank at this point. He's almost got 20,000 gold in this game, and the next highest is 17. So he has been doing a lot of work in terms of just that gangplank with the Klepto, or not the Kleptomancy, but just the Relic Shield was helping him out, as well as the Parlay. We'll see if he swaps any items out, because he has Adaptive Helm, which won't help him in the damage department, but will help him against the Kog'Maw W percent HP damage, because that actually does count, magic. And then Rise spamming spells at him as well will also be reduced by the Adaptive Helm. So it's a little bit tankier here for the GP.
See Adrian, don't see it too much. Seeks Convergence, getting grabbed up, still a fun item.
a lot of people still don't know how that item works.
Yeah, it's true. If you play Karma, you get it quite a bit, and then you can figure out how it works. You use it all the time. You still create a little fiery attack for your opponent.
Yeah, for the
you
person
get a storm for yourself.
Yeah, you get a storm for yourself, but you want to kind of put them on top of each other.
Right.
So enemies get slowed. You can ignite it, right? Or enhance the slow, I guess.
Keeping that magic resist up, though. Keeping everybody safe. And he still has the locket for himself. Redemption falling out. Don't need the health. It's all in and all go.
All right. Phoenix is about to have his flash back up.
Stand aside. Oh! It's like, yo, bro, you just countered my ult.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a jump there from Adrian.
Yeah, he got him to stand beside me, and then Fate's Call is down. Sejuani's ultimate. Xmithie now has that Glacial Prison back up. There's a few pings down mid lane.
Yeah, because it looks like Echo Fox actually aren't as interested in getting a fight as they are clearing the mid wave and getting mid priority here. Mid priority like this, when it's given to you, will allow you to go up towards the Baron, especially when there are super minions that will push down mid.
Yeah, they clear out that last wave, so all the way down towards, it's going to be caught by Double Lift. Is this a 4v5 fight that they want to grab, though? They do not see where Pole Vaulter is at the moment after he clears top wave. And the wards are getting cleared out left and right, so it only slows things down. To force the fight, though, is what Echo Fox wants. They feel like they know that Pole Vaulter and Double Lift just back, or we're in base, preparing for what could come, and now the Baron's been taken over, rendered out by OpTic. Impact in a bad spot, doesn't make it over the wall! It goes down, 63 seconds on the clock. That's Dardoch in, but he's going to be able to live long enough for the team to get back. The health bars are being deleted on the side of Team Liquid as they get washed away. And Xmithie's going to be the next one to go down, rendered out. As Ole runs for his life. Hootie's just going tit for tat with Kovalter as the rest of the team, the cavalry, is right behind him. As Ole's the only one left alive. Fox take over the base.
Echo Fox are going to try to end the game right here and take possession of first and tie C9 at the end of week 4.
Entering at 6-1, leaving at 7-1 as they start on the first Nexus turret. 15-7, all-out brawl back and forth throughout the game, in and out of replays. We were back into the fights, but now Echo Fox has finally found their way to the Nexus, finally found their way through Team Liquid, and will pick up first place in the NALCS.
A 2-0 week for Echo Fox. This one was a bit cleaner from them. They were able to find out mid-game, hey, we're being maybe a little too aggressive with our engages, reassessed it, decided not to give as much to TL, found some clean fights for themselves, but it was definitely a stressful one there, and a hard-fought victory for Echo Fox.
What a great game. Definitely pressuring back and forth.
Yeah, TL gave them a run for their money, but TL...
I love games like that.
They went 0-2 this week against the top 2 teams. That has to not feel great, but at the same time, they did give Echo Fox a rough time. And it's interesting, because TL had a lot of momentum. A lot of people coming into this week said they've been crushing people. 27, 26-minute games, obviously first place, obviously the best team in the league. Echo Fox and C9 step up and say, no, they're in the conversation.
And that's the first 0-2 week for Liquid as well, coming into the split. They've been playing quite well for themselves. Another 2-0 week for Echo Fox as they continue to figure out, you know, if there were any issues, say, yeah, we got a little complacent in our loss that game. We thought we were kind of too good. And honestly, we hear that from a lot of teams when it comes down to it, if they've been doing well.
Yeah, the issue here, though, is TL, you know, after that 0-2 against the top teams, they aren't really going to get a chance to bounce back for a bit here. They have to have this week, and this was a strong week for them where they could have had sole possession of first if they beat Cloud9 and Echo Fox. That's one of those opportunities that you're definitely going to work hard at and try to get through that week. But if this was, you know, the best that they had, you have to be looking at Cloud9 and Echo Fox and going, these teams actually look quite good now.
Absolutely. It's been a different season than I think a lot of people thought from the start and up until now. So to hear more about that game, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much. We have a slugfest of a game, but Echo Fox left standing at the end of it to move to 7-1, tying C9 at the top of the table. 2 of our best teams in the league right here, just battling it out, toe-to-toe, skirmishes left and right.
Yeah, 9 kills in 18 minutes. That's so many more than we're used to seeing generally in the league and across the world right now, so that's great to see. And they didn't have to take crazy early game comps to do it. Pretty much standard in the general sense of it, though there were a couple interesting little knickknacks to this draft.
Yeah, I think the fact that there was a unsuccessful game for Impact first picking GP yesterday might have influenced Echo Fox's willingness to leave it open. They also have traditionally been very comfortable with Cassiopeia into Rise, so giving that away first pick was fine. So in a way, Echo Fox kind of got what they wanted with that draft, but once they have Zach and GP and Callista, they're just going to be going in over and over again. That's how Echo Fox plays.
Right, and it was a pretty well-played game of them, but you see how close it is. This fight, Pobelter's over the dying, and he doesn't walk into the Taric ultimate, but Double Lifts over the wall, getting a lot of damage in, then has to walk around. The Gnar ultimate, or Mega Gnar runs out right as he's getting involved in the fight, so he's going to get finished off as well. Not able to find any of these kills, and Dardoch and Huni living with slivers of HP.
Slivers, and that was a theme throughout the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
Dardoch getting away at the last second, kind of knowing the limits of his champion. But I want to push forward to 25 minutes. Our other team fight, Team Liquid, 2-0 plus the Baron.
Yeah, and this kind of just shows how close the game was. You can see Echo Fox kind of grouped around the Baron, of common force where they're trying to get the other team to fight. Usually it ends up in a 50-50. This time Team Liquid calls them on their bluff and goes in really early to get multiple kills and get the Baron for themselves. And that's when you were like, yeah, there's a lot more game to play still.
Right, so here's my question. Whose game was that? Right? Like, was Team Liquid playing Echo Fox's style? Was Fox playing Team Liquid style there? I mean, which one would you have attributed this game more closely to?
I mean, that was Echo Fox's play.
Yeah.
And that was Team Liquid trying to respond to the play. And that's what Echo Fox has been able to do to get a lot of these victories, is they draw the other team in to the style where Echo Fox is most comfortable.
Right, because I heard you say the words, this team is or I don't want to misquote you, but in talking about Team Liquid, it was this team is better.
Yeah.
These players are better than the team is performing.
Yeah, I'd say like Team Liquid is too good to look this bad.
Gotcha.
Would be one of the ways, because they just, I feel like they should be better than that. Like, I feel like they should be able to punish these super aggressive moves by Echo Fox, and I feel like they should have cleaner team fights, but they're not gelled yet. And they're this super inconsistent team that looks great one week, and then are they slacking off in practice? They're losing that motivation the next week, and then they come out and they look flat.
Right, and on the flip side, it's the individuals of Echo Fox, right, and the execution within those skirmishes that is really top-notch.
Yeah, and I think they've done a better job recently with that. I think this game, they didn't take a single 50-50 Baron, which is something you could have criticized them in the past for doing. They tend to do it from behind, but they've done it from ahead sometimes too. So it's nice to see that they aren't using that quite as much, and they actually worked more with mid-control and forcing ultimates out to force the Barons.
We're actually going to take a moment as well now to send it down to Avli, who's standing by with Echo Fox's slingshot specialist.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Dardoch. Congratulations on that victory. With that win, you guys keep your hold on first place, but I want to ask, coming in against Team Liquid, how confident were you?
To be honest, I was kind of not as confident as I normally am going into the game, because I do respect Team Liquid's roster a lot, and I have a lot of, I mean, I've played with a couple of their players before, and I do know that they're a strong team, and they have a lot of, they've had a lot of very convincing wins in LCS, and we were looking shaky our last kind of couple showings in LCS, so I guess I knew we could win, but I knew it was going to be hard.
What was the main thing that you were looking out for coming from them?
Nothing really in particular, other than they just seem like they play around wave priority. They play really standard, so we knew that as long as we kept our communication in check about the basics, that we would be able to at least contest them.
Your 100% win rate with Zach, 5-0. You look so strong on this champion. Why do you think you perform so well with him?
Honestly, every time I pick Zach in 4-5, I don't want to pick Zach, but my team keeps telling me to pick Zach, so I just say my teammates' confidence in me helps me a lot.
Does the champion fit in with your playstyle in any way, or?
It wouldn't. If you watched me since my 2016 rookie split, you wouldn't say that Zach really fits my playstyle, but I mean, I played probably like 150, 200 games of him during offseason, so it's pretty clean.
I think everyone has seen Rick Fox, the owner of Echo Fox, cheering you guys on in the stands. What does it mean for the team environment, team atmosphere, to have such an owner that's so supportive and accessible?
I mean, it obviously helps a lot just having people in general just being there to support us every day. Like, Stratton comes out, Jerry Jeffrey comes out, our president, and also Rick Fox comes out very often. So just seeing them in work every day, and then also them to show up on the days that matters most helps us a lot.
Well, Dardoch, congratulations again on your victory. And for more on that game, let's go back to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. Pretty clean. Yeah, pretty clean. That's
understatement,
one way
maybe.
to put it. 5-0 on the Zach so far. But it's an interesting point he brings up himself. If you had looked at him when he first joined the LCS, you don't point to Zach as the go-to champion for Dardoch's style. So he has greatly evolved and grown as a player over his journey here in North America.
You can still see shades of his play style, though. He's going pretty aggro, jumping in 1v2 at blue buff, but he knows this champion so well. He doesn't end up dying when he goes for that, gets that blue buff, gets out of that situation, too, so he has a monster impact on the game. And then on other invades
always
as well.
gets away.
Yeah, it never dies.
You can't really kill him, and he has passive a lot of the time, too, which allows him to be this fearless. But at this point, like, just having the guts to go for the support jungle play when you're so low, like that's why Double felt like he was safe up there. He's like, Zach was low, there's just a brawl, maybe a round, I'm fine, but you're not, because Dardoch is always going to go for the play.
All right, picking up player of the game this time around, Dardoch again excelling, moving to 7-1. What's going to stop this team?
I think, if anything, it's the way they win is going to stop this team, and we've compared Echo Fox to cryptocurrency a lot, and this would be like my most likely time to call them a bubble at 7-1, probably ending the first half at 8-1, because they didn't do it this game, but they've done so many 50-50 Barons, and I feel like they engage in so many 40-60 fights, 30-70 fights, where even skill, even play on both sides, they lose, and they are better than other players individually in a lot of these fights, but they're not better than everyone in the league at those plays. And if they're not flexing their muscles and improving the cleanliness with which they find these fights and picking higher percentage plays, like don't be so willing to opt into the 40% plays, then I'm going to fully believe in this team, because I look at the way they have played these games and see the 7-1 record, and I feel like that record is better than the play, even though they have been good.
Yeah, I think the way to think about it is this team is 100% on the same page about going in and taking those 40% fights. So they end up winning a lot of them, but it's going to be a concern when you play against teams who are equally on the same page with what they're trying to do. A lot of teams are still figuring themselves out, not 100% on the same page, and then you go up against teams who are also mechanically able to match up with you. They're going to have a little bit of a struggle.
And the thing is, they played pretty much everyone. Like, I think they're big favorites against the Hundred Thieves. So it can work, right? They can beat Cloud9. They've beaten Cloud9. They can beat TSM. They've beaten TSM, right? They've shown that they can do this, but...
Right, the only team they can't beat is CLG.
Yeah, clearly. And I think so many teams, Dash, are still figuring out how to play together, right? Like, they're not on the same page like Echo Fox is, or they all come from different fits. Like, their fit just doesn't work. One player is an early game player, one player is a late game player, and they clash. And as much as everyone made fun of Echo Fox for having all the toxic players on the environment, they have clicked from day one, so their synergy has been so much better than teams. I just want to see what happens when the rest of the teams catch up in that regard.
Right, I think this is more of criticism aimed at playoffs. Like, we know this team is going to be in playoffs. We know they're going to be good. They're going to be a high-seeded team. But if we don't see more growth out of them over the next half of the season, we are a little concerned. But they have all the time in the world to grow.
2-0 week, and the victory today comes over another top team. Up next, we have a brawl between OpTic Gaming versus Clutch Gaming. Meet us back here after the break.
Kind of threatening because there's potential to hold on bottom lane play.
This game is on fire right now. Double it forced to flash. OpTic forward. Could get the run down. Now to mid lane. Phoenix flashes down. The rinse repeat. Gets himself out with a sliver of health. Ole goes down as a Winter's bite. Freezes him up and Dardoch lives.
I'm gonna take here's shot. From
fantastic. I cannot wait to see kind of if one gets that early lead and then kind of sticks it to him, you keep going, or if you're going to need the jungler help. You know, all chat, you need your jungler.
But yeah, Febivin versus Power of Evil. Historically, in the EU LCS, it's the first time they're playing against each other in NA. In the EU LCS, Febivin has gotten the better of Power of Evil over the last 2+ years where they've been playing head-to-head.
Everybody's somebody's kryptonite, right? Isn't that how it goes? Corki and Gangplank knocked out of the list. Zoe is the first one for Clutch Gaming. Teams taking their time here, figuring out what it's going to be. They probably figured they'd get that ban onto Febivin for Corki. Solo takes the Gangplank hit. You think he came in with the name Solo? I think I'm going to be a solo laner.
His name was originally the Solo King.
There you go.
And I remember him as a Renekton Rumble player.
Oh, so he knew. He knew exactly what he was doing. Talia is that selection for Clutch Gaming. Shut down Power of Evil a little bit here with 2 bans to start things off.
Yeah, mostly across the mid lane here. Azir still on the table. That's the one that jumps out to me as what you would assume is the next ban, but we talked about
Camille off the table.
That's true. We talked about Febivin versus Power of Evil though. So
that's true.
There's 4 mid lane bans so far. Will a 5th one come out here from Clutch Gaming to pinch that pool down even further? Because both these guys, you can tell, are heavily focused on that mid, and there it is.
There it is. The Azir does get taken away. First pick. Gonna hover the Jace with 20 seconds left. That Galio, however, still on the board. Power Wheel is gonna take safety to the mid lane and for the team globally.
Yeah, Galio saw a bit of a resurgence. People started building him AP again after it surged again in the LCK. It was played a bit, I believe, on the Demacia Cup.
Yeah.
But now it's really made its way into North America. Combines incredibly well with things like Camille and Jarvan, and even Zac to start team fights off. Rakan is another one that's near the top of the table for helping the Galio get in. But now he's mostly a semi-AP mid laner. We saw Bjergsen actually build a Rod of Ages and a Morelos, whereas normally the build includes something like an Abyssal Mask afterwards, where you really do buy 1 AP item and then start moving in. There's the Camille that we were talking about.
Also had that in Academy as well. A little bit more of a damage-doing build, if you will. The Camille does get locked in, so it goes by the Gnar and Ezreal pick again for Apollo here. He says, remember what I did on this? And they get 2 good picks for themselves, but it is going to be the Braum and the Camille. 2 great pickups here for OpTic Gaming in the first 3 of their Phase 1.
And I'm interested to see what happens with this Camille, because one of my big criticisms of Zig as a player is that he never played Camille ever. Back when he was on Phoenix 1, he was kind of forcing his team to ban it, even on blue or red side when she was OP. It didn't matter. It was taking up a ban. And I'm going to check his history right here. He has 0 Camille games across his entire career. So I wonder if this is just going to Acadian in the jungle here, or if it is going to Zig in the top lane, and he has picked up that champion, because that would definitely check a box that before was a criticism that I had of Zig.
Very interesting. He is somebody that absorbs in the top lane, so he'd have to be careful if he does get a killer champion to go in. Won't be as tanky with that aggression he usually finds on his top side of the map. Cassio versus Galio. First time both of these players have taken this champion into NALCS, so they're kind of going off of their list that they've had so far. Febivin on Cassio, and Power of Evil gets that Galio as we're in ban phase 2 here. Twitch, Tarek, another AD carry as we would figure for Arrow, but he does have a Barret possibility coming in.
Yeah.
And the Tarek with 1 left for OpTic Gaming.
But the Cassiopeia for Febivin is going to struggle if the Camille plus the Galio get in onto her and just have that combination. The Thunderdome comes down. And I'm really kind of interested to see what the rest of Clutch Gaming's draft looks like, because they are going to want something to protect them from having that engage jump down. So maybe a Tom Kench would be what comes out here for Hakuho.
I do like it.
Yeah, the Skarner ban towards Lyra. His Skarner yesterday was very interesting, and this would be an interesting pick here for Hakuho.
I like this, because I always liked Hakuho when he was kind of aggressive on his Trundle picks and whatnot in the support position. Goes a little harder, so I feel like Shen fits right in his wheelhouse.
Shen also allows him to play towards the top side of the map, so if you have an aggressive matchup for Solo, Solo can go ahead and bully and not worry too much about ganks. But this also gives them a way to match things like Galio going to the side lane and have somebody show up. So I like this pick for him.
Ooh. Lots of pop-ups and knockups now. They've delivered the Glacial Fissure. You got Camille bouncing in, Galio with the entrance, and who now? Do they lock in for a possible top or jungle? We're still waiting to sort that out, and it is going to be it.
It'll be a top
for the fight. Absolutely.
A top lane Camille, the first one for Zig in his entire career.
Pressure is on him a little bit to perform on more of, I wouldn't say a damage dealer. We know the guy for playing Kled, for playing a lot of cool things on the top side, so he knows kind of those boundaries, but really knows Camille boundaries. We get a last lock in here as well. Kha'Zix for Lyra in the jungle, so he can stay aggressive.
Yeah, but that means Acadian on that tank jungler here. Good front line for OpTic Gaming. They're going to look for a lot of damage from Power of Evil, but the thing is this matchup, you want to buy Adaptive Helm, possibly Abyssal Mask right off the bat, against the Cassiopeia to reduce her damage. So then a lot of your damage comes from Arrows Kalista, which is more of a mid, early game champion, and then you have the Camille that needs to scale here. So if he's not building AP in mid lane, they have a distinct lack of magic damage on this team composition, whereas Clutch have really diverse lanes here in terms of the damage they'll be dealing.
Either team looking for their first 2-0 week coming in. Get the matchup of Power of Evil and Febiven here. In their history throwback, we'll see who can start off the NALCS record for themselves as they get into it. Febiven kind of had the upper hand in this matchup in the history over Power of Evil. We'll see if that continues. Hashtag OPT win, hashtag CG win as we get on to the Rift, our last game of the day here in week 4. It's going fast.
Yeah.
It's going fast, and teams aren't having a lot of time to recoup and figure new things out. It's how well are you doing right now?
Exactly, and right now these two mid laners are killing it. Febiven, highest kill participation on his team, 83.7. A lot doesn't happen without Febiven involved. Whereas Power of Evil, highest on his team, 82.7. So they are right there neck and neck, and the action will most likely revolve around that mid lane.
OpTic versus Clutch Gaming. We are on to the Rift for our last game of the day. Let's see who gets the victory. The first 2-0 week for one of these squads, and somebody has to go away with that loss. Pretty even starts, or I should say orthodox starts here from either side. Not too many stopwatches this game. Just 2 on each side.
We're doing it! The stopwatches are getting out of there!
What's happening? And we have the shields on the top side for a little bit of that defense and help.
Yep, I like the Camille runes right now. The Comet is fantastic for her. A lot of people were saying, you know, maybe press the attack or something like that, but the precision tree just isn't as appealing. The Comet going down sorcery gives you that extra AD to help you last hit, whereas attack speed doesn't do much for her. And then Resolve Secondary allows you to survive matchups with things like Second Wind or even the Iron Skin to deal with the Gnar early on.
Minions have spawned.
Slow checks with mystic shots everywhere from Twisted Fate Azure.
Try to get some gold. It's Kleptomancy. If you throw out a Q and you get a potion, you're like, boom, lane phase 1.
That's true. Imagine you get 2 or 3.
Ooh.
Getting crazy, getting crazy. We'll slow down. So that ward on red, they'll have a bit of information here on Acadian to start things off. Usually someone you see on the Sejuani, things to kind of hold back. Knows what to do.
Yeah, Acadian had played the Jarvan and the Kha'Zix, as well as Rengar and Nunu, but he does have a Sejuani game against TSM back in week 2. So it's not, you know, it's interesting because I feel like all the junglers kind of play tanks at this point. It's not, it's more of the bruiser junglers that are the abnormality. So Acadian just playing the tank, just like, you know, Dardoch's playing Zac, being in charge of engage and being a playmaker.
And getting him on that as well, that was saying, hey, we want a Camille. Kalista was kind of left up there. They didn't prioritize that, but they definitely get in with that Camille on the top side, especially Galio to make sure Power of Evil can get the fight. So that combo definitely meant something to them on the side of OpTic this game. See if they can use it.
If everyone's going to go ward that little pixel brush off to the side, because they know that Acadian started on the bottom side of the map, and that would lead his route towards the top, and would most of the time put him past that ward if he is going for a mid lane gank. It won't protect him top, so you can see that Solo put his ward down in the tri-brush to kind of protect from that happening as well.
Scuttles it up on the bottom side for Lyra. He finally gets enough mana.
Ah, yes.
Ugh.
Presence of mind. As soon as you level up as Cassiopeia, your mana bar turns white and you just go all in. It really does help her. It's absolutely an interesting change that happened with the Runes Reforged, where people would take things like Corrupting Potion and then just E you down. Now, you can just Presence of Mind, E them down every time you level up. And it works out, even when Cassiopeia draws minion aggro now with the changes in 8.2. Hasn't affected her at all. Lyra getting bullied by elimination here.
I like the sheet.
Still gets the smite though. And how?
Interesting little invasion. The jungle power in numbers keeps Clutch Gaming alive, and the fact that they know Acadian is top keeps them a little safer here as we get a slight parallel jungling going on.
Yeah, do have to watch out though, because even though Acadian is on the top side and they know a bit about it, Zig into this Gnar has ways to set up the gank, but Acadian is just going to sit in the bush. He's actually going to back away so he doesn't get spotted there. They don't know. But Solo, you see, he actually doesn't go up to the bush to put the ward in. Decides that would be too risky, and instead just places it a little bit further, so he won't really get much information there, and his river is not warded at all.
Play it safe. He's going to leap himself out, but he is getting a slight push on the lane if he keeps getting his boomerang to go through everything. 25's up there. Yeah, so everything's staying pretty safe. We just saw that teleport back in the lane for Power of Evil. No, his Unsealed Spellbook is working perfectly, but Hakuo as well with the Unsealed Spellbook. It looks for him to change as he gets throughout the game for that global pressure towards the middle part of the game.
He's definitely one of the best support users I've seen. Him and Smoothie using the Unsealed Spellbook has been an absolute delight where they change it to match the situation. I remember his teleport with Ornn to the mid lane to just help turn around a fight. So Hakuo will have a bit of global pressure to match things like the Galio later, like you said.
So different. Unless you played against it, you don't really consider, because you think of what champion is coming in, what your positioning is, you have to hold flash, and when that's completely turned around in somebody else, it becomes such a huge play for your team. Really something that players are still getting used to, especially when you see the double Unsealed Spellbooks coming out from some bot lanes around the world. 5 minutes into this one. Pretty even CS around the board. Featherman doing well in the mid lane. Sees push Power of Evil out with that teleport to start things off.
All right, now it looks like a little bit of a minor collapse here onto Acadian. He spots the ward going down, so he knows they're in his jungle. But it would be just the Kha'Zix. But he's a level up.
He says, yeah, okay.
Does he trust this? He should know the Kha'Zix's damage output.
I don't know. For the consideration, Acadian looked like he was kind of fronting back, saying, yeah, my team is coming, but they have vision on both mid and top.
Yeah.
So Lyra knew he was safe. A few shots from Apollo, nice unbreakable as they get hits back under Spirit's Refuge. Yeah, a bit of a trade on both sides there, pretty even.
Super good taunt, though. Double taunt there from Hakuo to lock him up and give him some damage, but still, Callista's early game is just really rough to deal with. And you can see Lemonation actually already took a back and swapped to teleport and TP'd into the lane there. So he doesn't have a combat summoner spell to really deal with an all-in from Clutch Gaming's bottom lane.
A little deep vision here, actually. Gonna play Scuttle, one of my favorite things to do. There's pressure from Acadian. They're saying, how long can we actually make this happen? We want to get Draken involved. No, but I'll peel him up. Hakuo is just on the edge, and Featherman still has control over that mid lane. So I like what OpTic's thinking. Clutch Gaming is really buying into it.
This might be a decent amount of damage. Cloudbreak does hurt. Okay, even goes through the shield a bit. Lyra, up! Heals it up.
Get himself to safety. Yeah. It's interesting, those kind of things, that when Drake fast attack speed, more DPS, kind of what the Drakes have in their pocket.
Well, Acadian wrapped all the way around here. Does have the fight. Takes it away.
Thank you very much.
He's almost 6.
He's gone.
You can see Acadian at the bottom left corner of your screen. He's almost level 6 here, whereas Lyra's still struggling to get to level 5. They'll get it off this camp, but they see him on it. Is Acadian just going to wrap around? Okay. Lyra knows not to do it, but he's just going to wait. Ah, so what Lyra's doing is he's saying, okay, if he doesn't have a ward here, he would just come check and assume that I'm doing it. But he gets Hakuo to come and do a little bit of a bodyguarding here and make sure that he doesn't get invaded and have more camps stolen away.
Quick recon mission. Good timing, too. Arrow's gone back. They just kind of have support versus Apollo in the lane right now, even though he's low on mana, so expect that. Maybe a kind of disjointed back here would come from Clutch Gaming. If Hakuo needs to stay in lane, we'll just see him get another rotation. This may be worked by Acadian. Seeing that low mana bar means it is a very gankable Apollo.
And he hasn't backed yet.
Yeah, they decide to get out.
He hasn't backed yet, so he doesn't have items, which makes it very likely that you win that fight, especially with the Bilgewater Cutlass for the Callista. Let's talk about his top lane for a second here. because confirmed that Zig does have Iron Skin and has Second Wind, so it's to survive the matchup against the Gnar and have a little extra armor. And he rushes the Ninja Tabis immediately off the bat, which I think is what you should be doing against this Gnar matchup as Camille. And then you have the max of the E, of the hook shot, to turn the matchup and kind of keep up with him, have that low cooldown, because Gnar does not max leap until final skill up.
Yeah, it's kind of just your way in.
Yeah, so have ways to constantly go after him. And Hakuo almost by himself, but we're going to have
early
some
Spirit
company.
Refuge, but a very nice taunt through. They bring power people in. Hakuo buys a bit more time, gets the shield down, does not have enough Spirit's Refuge. Oh, 1, 2, the hits come in. The flash is held, but the heal is used. Acadian just gets out alive. He might have even taken a live there, but the turret was pretty heated up.
Don't risk it.
Stopwatches, exactly.
Exactly, don't risk it. This will get them first turret at almost 9 minutes here, and they're trying to make a counterplay on the top side.
Yep.
Zig may absorb that pressure. We'll see how he plays this one out.
This is the job of Zig, to absorb pressure on the top side for OpTic. A few shots here and there. It's a big wave. He's trying to get tactical sweeps down to clean
They're
it.
trying to get
There's
his transform on solo.
Teleport coming in from Lemon Nation as you switched out on that earlier. And they will be able to save the turret, but also a little map control. How do they start to use it?
He completed it too, so he can help with like the wave clear and help with the warding up and kind of track Lyra. So I don't expect this turret to go down in response. That'll be a free turret on the bottom side for OpTic as they get that first turret unanswered.
Nice little cheeky ward from Lyra as soon as the Scar's Bloom passed over that area. And we'll see this again on the bot side. Spirit's Refuge wears off, and they're in.
Yeah, because Apollo had to take a staggered back, it means that he's not there, which kind of helps him in this situation. Because that's just a full-on dive. Power Beagle now has aggro after Acadian at it. He stopwatches on this last shot there, swaps to Acadian, who then swapwatches right there too. And that most likely would have killed him based on the damage the last shot did.
Looking at it again. It was pretty heated, if you will. 2-0 now. OpTic with a nice dive on the bot lane. They did kind of figure out when Apollo would go back due to the roaming of Hakuo and low mana. So now they look to play maybe towards mid, maybe towards top. Acadian takes himself towards the mid lane to make sure Feminine doesn't clear too much. Zig's now in a 2v1, but actually doing quite well with that shield he's getting.
I mean, Zig, back when he was kind of like the most improved player of the split, we were talking about him about a year ago. It was mostly because of the fact that he absorbed pressure so well, and he really didn't give his opponents much. It was never because he was like a big mechanical god or anything like that. It was because he knew what to do relative to his team, and that was back when he was on Phoenix 1 with Arrow. And when you're able to just kind of absorb pressure, and they're coming for you on the top side of the map, that means that Arrow, this guy who likes to play for the late game, he isn't getting ganked, and he gets to scale up, and you really are contributing to how the team is playing to their win condition. And so you see there, even though Cassiopeia and the Kazakhs could have been coming for him, he's still playing far enough back, sees the turret like he should, and doesn't take the risk at all.
Still, it's a very nice fly under the radar thing here for Arrow.
Yeah.
It was always Zig kind of being on the Scion on the front line, something that was disrupting, and you had Arrow, piercing Arrow, I'm Varus on the back. And then you'd be like, wait a minute, this guy is huge. They're doing a great job around the map and kind of keeping that chemistry going.
Yeah, and that was back when he got the MVP in spring last year. Now we'll see what they do right now on OpTic's side, because they have that Rift Herald. They trade it for the Drake, but this Rift Herald should turn into a mid turret for them. And in terms of CS across the map, it's really just been that bottom lane that's been going well for OpTic, whereas their top lane is behind because of the range matchup. And then the Galio is behind because Steppen's playing this well, but also the counter matchup for himself. Which kind of lends itself to the reason OpTic played to the bottom side of the map was that's their one winning matchup.
Yeah. Don't want to bring too much pressure towards Zig, allow him to play a lane with Camille. He'll be a nuisance later in the split push. But still, as we said, absorbing pressure on his own. Allow it to just happen and bring it to the rest of the map. Acadian towards the top side is going to deliver the blue buff over here as they start to get a little more control. And Lemon Nation starts to get some encroaching hordes in the jungle.
Power Beagle will get this blue buff for himself.
Merc Tread, but is getting a little bit of AP for him. Sorry, not AP yet, but
all right.
Magic resistance at the moment.
I'm expecting the Rift Herald in the next minute here, whether it's mid or it's top side. Arrow is shoving top. Oh, fight on the bottom side of this.
Everybody owns one side of the jungle. Zig's trying to hang out on the own side of Clutch.
They're gonna go
Look
top.
at all that vision, and yeah, why not? OpTic owns the top side, and that's where they will pressure. A back from Apollo as well. They're not going to continue to push this wave on the bot side.
They're going in. They're going to try to get solo here.
Huge Up, down, all around, getting knocked back and forth as Hakuo tries to enter the fight, but he might have just entered the frying pan. Solo goes down, they got the chase, the Winter's Bite hits a few more, but it does not connect from the Renslow as well. Can they retreat from the fight? They've gotten themselves in a little deep, and the focus wasn't on the turret.
Yep, it was just to get that kill onto Solo. They get the flash out of him, but they blow a heal and flash of their own to do so. Whereas Lyra just clears mid lane.
Fans feeling good. Start of the cheer as OpTic is now controlling Clutch Gaming's side of the map, and Lyra walks right into a full team of OpTic in his own jungle.
And now he uses the Rift Herald to help push down this mid turret. There's no jungler on the field. Cassiopeia would have to wave clear this, but with 4 people strong, this means they get to shove bottom and mid for OpTic, and OpTic are showing, you know, a different side of them than that late game team, play for the late game, the Gathering Storm team that's kind of been picking up 2 wins here or there.
Keeping things active all across the map and not just being okay with one. I wonder how this would have played out if Apollo kept pushing that bot lane, but still, OpTic comes up with a few kills and they would have had that damage on mid anyways.
Yeah, but they don't get that Rift Herald to take the turret, so they don't open the map up completely, and Peppervin gets to keep this going. And as we can see, that turret is pretty close to going down on the side of both teams. But right here, OpTic,
Top fight.
they make sure nobody's there, Elimination's pathing through, and Arrow even uses the Q to just get himself further towards that right side to cut off Solo's retreat. He heals to back up and drop turret aggro, and then they get the flash out of Solo, but he's already dead. And then Hakuo, looks like there's a call there on whether or not they should go, and it's the retreat. It's the conservative call there from OpTic, because there were 4 stacks of the Sejuani passage on the Shen, and Acadian could have easily pressed the EP and stunned him.
Definitely keeping a good focus on what's happening. Not getting too ahead of themselves. Something very easy once you are in the lead. You feel like everything's going your way. Still got to remember things can go wrong, especially only 15 minutes into the game. Core items are starting to be hit. There's the Abyssal Mask on a Power of Evil. You can stand up in these fights a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
A little AP to start with the ability tome right behind.
Yeah, it helps him with the matchup up against Cassiopeia. Merc treads into the Abyssal Mask, ends up giving Power of Evil, 135 magic resistance. And remember, Galio's W scales with magic resistance, and also his damage output from his passive scales with magic resistance. Magic resistance on top of it.
Scaling!
So the magic resistance helps him both offensively and defensively. There we go.
I like it. I follow. Sure, everybody is there. He is going to be a tanky man with a little bit of damage is what we're saying. 103, same thing as Arrow as they continue to keep the pressure on. Wards are still all the way through the bottom of OpTic, so you can see Solo getting a little bit of help as Vision as he gets the pressure up. But Clutch Gaming just has to make the right decision on the other side of the map. It's not about Solo right now. It's if they can defend the pressure from these 4 members of OpTic.
Yeah, and right now OpTic are trying to get this mid turret by going top and mid constantly. They don't have really any wards on the bottom side, and Zig is just kind of there to farm up. But that Ocean Drake will be up in a minute, and we might see OpTic either go for a quick play here to get one of these 2 objectives between these 2 top lanes and the mid lane, or they're just going to swap their wards and go to the bottom side and swap their lanes after one more push.
Frozen Mallet making things a little easier for Solo. Getting the face of Zig harder now, kind of be a bit of a nuisance, and their wards have died off. They're trying to take control and stop that snowball towards the top side of the map, replacing pink wards with just a few of those vision wards that Solo's trying to get for himself, along with the team's alterations. Apollo clearing up on the bot side, not even as game as yesterday. Stealing Barons.
Yeah.
Still the option though, but I don't know if OpTic's going to give him that just yet. They're so full control of the game. Why transparent?
Yeah, has to get to that scaling point, has to get a few items, especially in this Kalista matchup where she just bullies pretty much every laner. It's one of the reasons Kalista was banned throughout all of last year, pretty much. They finally get that middle turret, and the Ocean Drake is coming up, so you can see they swap to the bottom side, and it looks like Apollo's just going to fast push top instead of contesting here. But I think they... Okay, Shen had to get away. Taunt away. Interesting. Looks like Arrow's going to go to the top side to pick up the farm. Farm is more important than an Ocean Drake at this point. Or is it?
Maybe. They're all considering. This is the decision. When there's nothing to really do and all the waves are equaled out, you can see kind of maybe this, maybe that. We definitely have some wards to place or clear. They have 3 pink wards on them right now, but maybe not secure enough to place and protect. Just inside the edge of the brush, thought he might have missed. Oh, they aggro out the Ocean Drake. Looks like they will go down for it after all.
Yep, Trinity Force completed.
Oh, Fate's
TP
call.
really good. TP.
Ooh, nice taunt out. That's the hit-o though for Zig. The ward was in the Wolf camp, and now they're going to be taking down Apollo immediately. Catching the Ezreal is huge. Solo! The kite chase. 4-man Gnar swipe into the back of the mid turret, but it's not going to be enough. They stay towards the Wolf camp, and they won't be taking any turret damage. Lyra on the side can't find a way in to deliver any damage, and they take down Apollo and Solo to take down Ocean.
That's the Thunderdome composition right there. Camille throws down the Hextech ultimatum, and then Hero's entrance immediately able to follow it up for Power People. Apollo's the target. It is not a fun game to be that Ezreal. I don't care if you can E away. The Hextech ultimatum will follow you through that. If she had just pointed it, clicked on you, and then it's good to go. Apollo actually was the one to walk up here. So as he retreats, he E's away, and then flashes, but it doesn't matter. Shen ultimate comes down, but the damage is going to be too much. Ooh, and he still just gets blown up. Rom ultimate, another one to come through. But then, right there, Solo looked like he really wanted to get that ultimate off immediately.
Arrow positioning.
Gets kind of bumped for a second, and then it takes him an extra one to kind of get everybody in a position to throw them against the wall. But they don't have Apollo. They don't have a big damage dealer. Pretty much Febvin just at that point.
That bit of a bump actually gave Arrow time to move himself away from getting swept into the wall.
These
just filled Solo full of arrows.
And these are going to be very hard fights for Lyra to navigate. Right? I always talk about how the Kha'Zix is one of the champions in this meta that some people play that really doesn't work in a lot of team compositions. He needs gank assistance from his laners to even get anything done early. And then in the late game, he needs bigger threats than him to really focus down on killing frontline. He's not a frontline killer. He doesn't do enough damage to really kill backliners, but he has to find a way to threaten them. And especially when there are people who can defend, like the Braum or the Galio, it becomes even harder to get to those backliners and deal damage. So Lyra navigating these fights is above challenger level of challenging in professional play here.
Gargoyle Stone Plate now for Power of Evil. He kind of just squeaked that in there. There was an influx of gold that these guys got over the past few minutes. 6-0, 20 minutes in. And a 4K gold lead. We talked about kind of what these mid laners had in history, and they focused each other in the picks and bans, push each other to these selections. It seems like Power of Evil and the team have just come out on top after being able to control the map itself.
What is going on in that bottom lane? Zig, like, CS'd some minions, and then he was like, okay, I'm gonna just let 3 of these die because Solo could be here. Then he walked up and got greedy for him, and the Frozen Mallet Gnar came out. But the Camille is in a good spot now in this matchup. As long as the Gnar doesn't transform on her mid-fight.
Team Matt too just picked it up.
Yeah, you typically go Ravenous Hydra just so you can split push, but I do see Titanic Hydra as the tankier build that a lot of people opt into. There's Power of Evil TPing back to mid though. And it looks like a Death Brush.
Acadian, Antsy Pantsy. Got everybody caught. Vision's there, and Lyra knows they are in a dangerous spot if they try to stay in their own jungle. Fate's call. Who's the target? It is going to be Febvin. Does he turn around, get the Petrifying Gaze off? Gets a few members, but everyone's going to the bounce house as Power of Evil enters the fight. They do lose Arrow, though.
They're gonna win
Not
this.
the greatest positioning, and it is going to be pushed back onto Acadian. Lyra looking for the next target to slow down and Hakuo to taunt, but they don't have it, and now they will say, let's 50-50 Baron. If you really want to.
Well, there's no person to really contest it in terms of the 50, right? I would say this is like 80-20, maybe 90-10 with your smite up for Lyra.
No ultimate to really get them in. Elimination. Can't do much. Glacial Fisher's not even up for himself to get the crowd control there. And doing his damnedest, Power of Evil tries to stay alive for as long as he can, saying, how much can Baron damage Clutch Gaming? Can Sig put anything in? He's got to put his entire body in if he wants to do that. And it's too dangerous. What a turnaround. It was just 6-0, now 6-3, and Clutch Gaming get Baron.
Clutch Gaming, I feel like this name becomes more and more apt for them because their comebacks and coming in clutch when it matters. It's
Here it is.
Getting a little bit ridiculous.
It's
right
almost
here.
like they had a little, just enough, I should say, to assess the fight.
Yeah, Febvin, watch this, because what happens is the Q misses, so he actually doesn't get stunned here when he has 3 stacks afterwards. Cleanses, flashes away, so he has to burn it a little bit later. But right there, that was huge, where they were able to get away, have Lyra come in from the flank, and that's one of those fights I was talking about where having the Kha'Zix navigate it, he has to have somebody who's a bigger threat than him pull everybody in, and then he gets to kind of go after people, where Apollo was able to kind of snipe down Arrow.
Huge as well. Elimination even with the shield up. Just kind of point of origin, if you will. He was a little too close to Febvin. Petrifying Gaze just behind. So many things went in favor of Clutch there, and really it plays into the favor of next fights for them.
And that was a fight that OpTic were looking for. Arrow popped the ulti to throw in Elimination, but there was no teleport from Zig. He didn't have it up, whereas Solo, I believe, had teleport and even had the roam advantage. So it was one that you didn't get the Camille combo off because she wasn't even there and she couldn't be there.
I like the audacity here from OpTic. Still inside the jungle, still trying to get initiations, but not catching any. It's just giving Clutch Gaming the awareness of where OpTic is. They have to be careful on these initiations as well.
Yeah, and being careful, you can see that Zig's build, it's not going to go for the Ravenous Hydra. It's the Titanic Hydra that'll come out here for him, or he's going, straight for Asterix, but I feel like it's the Titanic Hydra build that's coming out here, which makes a lot of sense if he's going to be team fighting. The Ravenous Hydra is more for split push versus the Gnar, where you take some damage, then you heal it all up. But this one is more for, I'm diving in, I don't want to get instantaneously destroyed by the enemy team, so I'll have a little bit more HP in the tank. And I expect Asterix afterwards with possibly a Guardian Angel to back it up. I mean, maybe even an Adaptive Helm against this team that has a Cassiopeia.
Good. Febvin is kind of standing strong, even though he's being targeted. Saracen Brace is also finished, so he gets some more little survivability here. Cleanse is just about to be up and Flash a little bit later. Power of Evil and Crew heading towards mid as you get a final clear from Arrow in the bot lane. It looks like they've somewhat set themselves up to prepare for a fight here if they need to.
And the more I'm looking at this from Power of Evil, when we discussed in Champion Select Riv, where the damage of this OpTic composition is going to be mostly Arrow and a little bit Zig.
Right.
We see an Abyssal Mask followed by a Gargoyle Stone Plate. There's not a lot of AP on Power of Evil. He's not an AP threat really at this point. He's more about just soaking damage and tanking. But right now, as this Mountain Dragon looks like the next point of contention, we're going to see a fight here. We'll see if OpTic's damage can actually match up.
Lyra as well, a little happier to stand on the front line now that Guardian Angel is finished up for him. He can be a lot more of a nuisance. The focus has been to take him out very quick if the situation arises, and now they have to second guess that. But like you were saying, against this Galio, not building too much AP, when kind of does that armor spike point come for Clutch Gaming when it almost becomes too hard to fight them? They don't have too many members that just want to build straight armor.
Yeah, they don't really have people who will build straight armor, but it means that Apollo's Iceborne Gauntlet goes further, that the things like the Guardian Angel are going to mean even more, and then when Solo starts building his next item, which actually looks like he's going AP here, or I guess Magic Resistance, which is, I think, a little bit odd, because it would be mostly this 20% HP, just try and lower Apollo, you can't keep doing this!
Man is on a mission, and he completes it.
The Sun God? Nah, man, he's the god of thieves.
Nicely done. Gets himself a blue. Like you said, the Iceborne Gauntlet going to go farther while he can keep them off the team now as he spits out those Qs. Muramon has already finished up for him, so he's not worried about that. But for 2 blues to now be on Clutch on these kind of machine gun mage in the middle and Apollo's Mystic shots, they need to start doing that pressure. Getting pushed in a little bit still, however, their Baron wears off and OpTic knows it.
Galio.
Hextech Ultimatum goes down, gets himself just outside of some danger. He'll coming from Hakuo, but Lyra and the rest of the team are already on that side of the map. They got to be very careful what their initiation is here and how deep they're going to go. Power of Evil says we're still going. Arrow, second guesses this. Pulls in the Fate's Call very early to hit the back line, but now they have to assess. Have they thrown Lemonation in too far? And they have. He goes down. Glacial Prison in the end. They're kind of using things they would still use to defend here as they leave.
They're throwing so much there in like desperation. Clutch Gaming definitely more on the same page here, and OpTic you can see flailing a bit when they are once taking these last 2 fights that we've seen. Watch this again, because Zig goes in, and this is just a full commitment onto the Gnar. He gets the Galio ultimate, but the Shen ultimate from Hakuo is enough there. The flash to chase, but then the E from Zig, that's going to be on cooldown now as he gets exhausted, and Lyra is just looking to hunt him down. You can see Lyra cloaks, even though he gets stopped and taunted, Zig still walks back up, gets picked off there by Lyra instead of fully retreating, and then Lemonation gets thrown in, throws a Glacial Fissure. These are the ones where you're like, man, I hit a 4-man Glacial Fissure. Man, look at this Sejuani ult. It's going to slow everyone. It's like, you don't have the damage. We just saw there that the Galio is not enough damage on his own. Plus a little bit from that Camille, who's not even at that 2-item spike yet. It's just not enough from OpTic. They really do need Arrow in these fights for a long time. But Clutch Gaming, they're getting more resists on top of their items and going to be, honestly, just a higher damage composition for Clutch. So OpTic really needs to take long fights.
Absolutely. If they kept Elimination, or I should say if he kept himself, Fates calls up to that support once he gets pulled in. If he kept himself in a closer position, Arrow stays in with a lot more attacks in that fight. Doesn't have to push himself up. Now, with that buddy system, Sejuani and Braum just hip to hip there with Arrow. Now, his flash still up, so he can get himself to safety in his place along with the Quicksilver Sash. Both of those bot laners now have.
Yeah, and now we have a Morello Nomicon completed for Power People, and he swapped over to
Seal,
Ghost from
dude.
Teleport. So yeah, his seal has been there for a little bit, but it's still, he's getting that point now where the AP is going to start mattering for him, and he will become an AP threat. But I wonder how much more he's going to get here, because this is not like a Roa or anything like that that's stacked up, plus a Morello. This is just that flat Morello AP plus a little bit from the Dark Seal. So I do want to see how much he's doing now, because the Galio was changed to have better AP ratios and a little bit less in the base damage department. Baron up in 5 seconds, so you can see OpTic are kind of posturing for it. And now they're trying to have a fight where all 5 of them are there, but Clutch are just a little bit stronger now with that gold lead.
Well, they know they have Zig's jump split. They can get into this fight just a little bit. Acadian has Febvin in his eyes. Here comes the hero's entrance. They're going to get a great kite out of this. Apollo and Febvin to the backside. And it's Solo and Lyra now looking to do damage. Oh, Apollo over the wall right in the face of Elimination. He just came up from going down. Is the swap there? The wall gets himself taken down.
Oh, he sold him out! Arrow gets knocked back in with the blast cone and gets taken down there. And that's going to be Barrett for Clutch.
The things that cannot happen are happening right now for OpTic. Sir Clutch Gaming is very happy about this. The amount of kind of resources they're getting out of OpTic in these fights are enough for them to initiate. And that one was basically getting Zig to be just about 1,000 range away from the fight.
Yeah, and that was one where they pushed Zig out, and then they wanted Febvin. This Cassiopeia just kites backwards. I mean, he's got a Seraph's Embrace, he's got Flash, he's got Cleanse, and I don't even think they get much out of him here. Let's watch this right here. Doesn't get the stack up completely. Aqua with a great taunt to prevent it. He doesn't have to blow any of his summoner spells, and they were reaching for him. And now he gets to come back through the fight and do it again. And right here, they finally found him.
Oh, is he gonna go down 6 alive? Oh, he goes down. Actually, Hextech Ultimatum is not enough for the shield. It is torn through by Febvin, and now they're going to take down Elimination consecutively up, consecutively down. He is not having a great end of the game here at 0-3-5. 6-9. Remember, it was 6-0 just a few minutes ago as Clutch Gaming starts to make quick work of the map. 31 seconds on to Zig. They are going to look for some Nexus turrets. The waves on the sides aren't pushing in. They have a focus.
Exactly. They have some decent amount of damage here onto these turrets. They're going to keep pushing. 20 seconds on Zig being back up. They're going to try to end right here. Clutch are looking for that 2-0.
Lyra staying in the front. Power People in a bad spot. He could get the taunt in that stops the damage on the Nexus, but it's still the HP bars not being enough on either the OpTic members or the Nexus. 31 minutes in. Clutch Gaming look to put the final touches on the game, and the last few hits from Hako on the top side are going to be enough. Clutch Gaming find their first 2-0 week.
Another comeback for the team, off the team fighting and picking the better fights than OpTic.
Poised and thirsty Febvin as he takes a drink in the mid lane, thinking a decent game, but probably an early game to work on there.
I mean, Febvin had a lane advantage pretty much the whole time for himself in terms of CS. It's just that one time that the roam got away from him by Power of Evil, but with having 0 deaths on his Cassiopeia against a Galio, a Sejuani, and a Camille that will constantly try to dive you and Hextech Ultimatum you, Febvin played incredibly well.
Finding those fights, yeah. Props to Febvin for kiting, finding the positioning that kind of made the team that much more perturbed to want to go the extra inch that allowed the fight to turn again back into Clutch's favor. I think we saw at least 3 or 4 of those fights, which means that OpTic definitely had that lead. They had a control to start these, but it had to be turned around by Clutch, and it shows you how much those fights were kind of thought about by Clutch to say, we can't take it yet, and now it's ours.
Yeah, and OpTic took a few of those fights where they couldn't have everybody there, and it looked like Clutch kind of read their minds and said they want to fight, and they showed up with one more member a few times in a row, and it definitely turned the tables for them. And I'm looking at the damage